It's time to power up your golf game. We have to use the ground up to power up your golf swing using the ground forces. There's 3 parts. We have the lateral forces, rotational forces, and the vertical forces. And we're going to break down each of those and how you can train your ground forces to power up your golf swing and hit some bomb drives. So stay with us to learn how to increase your club head speed and hit a longer drive. So there's 3 parts of the ground forces. We have lateral, where we are pushing off of our insteps side to side. We have rotational, where we push forward and backwards for us to create rotation. And then lastly, we have vertical forces, where we feel like we're pushing down to jump up and thrusting our body up through the golf ball, right? We need to do all 3 of those correctly, and most importantly, in the proper order to allow this club to work down our swing plane and for us to be able to continue to compile that power and transfer it to the golf club at impact. So how do we train for each of these? Well, there's an easy way for us to kind of remember this. It's really a 3-step phrasing for us to be able to work through all 3 ground forces. We need to feel like we're going to shift, right? The first one is a shift, where we feel like we're going to shift our hips to the left. For me as a right-handed golfer, we're going to shift our hips to the left to where we can get our body in the proper delivery position at the top of our backswing, beginning the downswing. Then, once we've shifted over, we need to clear. We need to be able to clear our body open to now allow the club to swing through the golf ball unencumbered. We're not going to invade that space by thrusting our hips forward. We need to clear our body before we then thrust. Our last thing is thrust. So we're going to shift, we clear, and then we thrust, driving through our glutes and our legs to thrust our hips up towards the sky. When we do that in the proper order, we are allowing ourselves to not get in our own way. We're letting the club come down the swing plane and coming through the golf ball on the upswing. So again, we need to feel the shift, the clear, and then the thrust. And we work through all 3 phases as we go into our first drill here. First drill, really what I like to do to work on these is get rid of the club. We're just trying to feel the body and feel the ground through our feet. We need to feel that shifting motion. So what I like to do to feel the shift is kind of just work on a lateral step. So take your normal stance width. I want to feel that. I'm going to bring my lead foot back to my trail, cross my arms, and I like to close my eyes when I do this one. I like to just feel the push, feeling like I'm striding to the left and how I'm interacting with my right leg, pushing to the right, striding to the left, and getting my body to feel this lean back position. I'm driving the lower half forward through this lateral shift. Don't shift everything, because if I did that during my golf swing, I'd shift over and come over the top. I need to shift only the lower half. I'm really driving the lower half of my body through my hips through this lateral push off. Okay, so when I go into the rotation is like a push and a pull. Imagine uncorking a top of a jar of pickles. I need to feel like I'm going to take the top off through a push and a pull mechanism, right? I need to feel like I'm going to push with my right side, driving this right hip kind of around and forward. At the same time, I'm pushing forward with my left leg to drive my left hip back, right? This does not allow my body to go forward if I do it correctly. If I push too much with my right, I'll go forward. If I push too much with my left, I'll go backwards. Make sure we kind of find that nice blend using both the right and the left leg, and making sure that as we've obviously driven off that shift of the right leg, that left leg needs to be really explosive to turn that into our clearing rotational motion, right? Make sure that left leg is really going to push down into the ground and pushing forward and out to drive this hip to come around and clear, right? So we're going to, again, shift, and then we clear, right? And all this kind of combines into now the last part, the thrust. The thrust is going to feel like I'm going down in that drive and loading down, and we're going to thrust our hips up. I want to feel like my belt buckle is going to point up to the sky. And as I do that, I'm going to feel my glute muscles really squeezing. still while I do this, remember the upper body is going to remain behind. So I'm shifting, clearing, and thrusting. Look at my body. I'm in a nice upward extended position, creating the upward angle of attack. So now as I go into my golf swing, what I commonly see out of a lot of my students and out of a lot of amateurs that I teach is the incorrect movements here, the incorrect ground forces. Usually, again, your order is the shift, clear, and then we're working on the thrust being last. What we see commonly out of a lot of people is they start to push too much lateral, they push too much rotational, and they don't necessarily create good, efficient rotation, or they never really thrust and they're kind of working their way down. So the inefficient movements of lateral would be a version of a reverse pivot where we go left and then back to the right, where we want to feel like we're driving to our lead side. When I look at that, again, I'm going to look at my club head speed. When I do this incorrectly, I'm going to do the reverse pivot, still swinging at full speed, just reverse pivot. Really hard to make good contact when you're doing it inefficiently, right? So you can see my body's moving all over the place. The club speed is down less than 100 miles per hour. And for me, that's low, right? I'm still making my normal swing effort, but I'm actually seeing the club speed go way down, right? Because I'm moving inefficiently, not allowing myself to use the ground correctly. Again, rotationally, people that are not rotating are more of sliding into the golf ball, or they're hanging back through that hangback motion, right? So when I start to see someone just slide through it, they're literally only going through the lateral motion, never allowing my body to clear. Let's see what the club speed does when I just slide into it. Just sliding through it. Club speed went up a little bit. At least I was getting my body to move the correct direction. But man, that club speed, still not that great, only at 103. Now let's show you the other end of the spectrum, someone that's a hangback, right? So that's somebody that is shifting back, they're loading in the right leg, and all they do is they rotate, but they never actually get over to that lead side at all. They just kind of spin out. They never really push over to that lead side. They just rotate. Even worse, because again, I'm never really getting any drive at all. I'm just kind of spinning out. And then lastly, you get a lot of people that generally never push down to drive their body up. They never thrust, right? And that's one of the biggest contributing factors of our attack angle to hit up on the golf ball, is actually getting our hips to thrust up, right? We've already put ourselves in good position when we laterally shift, but we got to make sure that we're really driving the handle and the club up through that good vertical force, right? So thrust up, right? When people are doing it wrong, they're working down into the shot. They have what I call the sloppy knees, right? You get kind of that lazy knee position where they just kind of look bent and uncomfortable working down into the ball. And a lot of times that makes you pop them up. So you can see my body was going down and so was my attack angle. When I'm working down into the shot, I'm going to hit the ball up in the air with a ton of spin, losing a ton of distance. Even hitting this solid, you see that the speed is going to go way down, right? Let's try to show you again one more time the incorrect movement, again, where I'm driving down into it. Even hitting it solid, this is not going to go very far. Club speed only 100, 272, still hitting down on it. Again, typically I'm over 300 yards, so we're going to show you now the efficient ways, right? Club head speed only at 100, right? Let's see how high I can get it. But again, we're going to feel that shift, we're going to clear, and then we're going to thrust. We're going to really amplify that power by pushing into the ground as hard as we can. Make sure that when we do this, we really get that intensity going, right? So I like to play a little game and do 3 strikes and you're out. So my first swing is going to set the tone of whatever that club head speed is. The next one has to beat that first one. If it does not, I get my first strike. And I'm just going to keep pushing myself to see how long I can push that speed up until I can reach those 3 strikes. See where that top threshold is once you hit that 3rd strike. And that's, again, your daily personal record, right? Let's see if we can move that PR up from day to day and practice session to practice session, right? So let's get set up. Let's make sure we get the shift. We're rotating, and then we thrust. Okay, we're going to put all of it together. and we're going to play that 3 strikes and you're out. Club speed, just under 116, 115.9. Okay, so we got to be anything 116 or more. That's our baseline. Again, a heck of a lot better than 100, right? For every mile per hour club head speed, you're likely around 3, 4, if not even 5 yards, depending upon the condition of your roll. Total distance, 315 on our very first swing. And the attack angle's coming up, which is great. So again, let's see if we can get faster than 116. Not worried about direction, mostly just worrying about getting that intensity and the speed. 119.6. All right, we're ramping it up. 327, and we have 176 ball speed, attack angle still on the upswing. Okay, now I got to work extra hard. No strikes, and I got to get to 119.7 or more, so trying to get 120 or more. May not be. Nope, 118.6. Didn't feel it on that one, right? Didn't feel a whole lot of energy coming from the legs. Felt like I tried to do too much from my arms and upper body, so it didn't feel right. Again, we're trying to get from the ground up. If you don't use your legs, your arms and upper body will not make up for the ground forces. It all starts from the ground up. So again, really loading the legs and exploding through our shift, clear, and thrust. Ooh, 123.9. That's a new personal record for me. That is pretty good. Okay, that's, again, my only after 1 strike, I hit my new personal record at 123.9. And frankly, this is a really fun way to practice. For those of you trying to increase club head speed, don't worry about where it goes. Just work on speed. I think it's a beautiful thing when you can really just have fun and really get aggressive through the shot. And it's not about form, it's about speed. 119.5, again, didn't feel that one nearly as good. That's my second strike. All right, 123 was my personal record. We got to try to beat that. Okay, really going to bear down here. Really go through the hard shift. Make sure I'm rotating hard and really going to thrust through with a hard jump. 121, not bad, right? Again, still breaking through. Only had 1 that was better than that, but that is my 3rd strike. You can see that when I'm going after it, I'm raising that intensity. I'm raising the ground forces coming from the ground up to go through the entire chain in the order that we discussed. We need to first laterally move, getting my body to stay behind the ball. We need to then clear everything out of the way, and then we need to thrust through the shot, making sure that we're staying behind the golf ball, thrusting our hips and the club going up through to help hit that nice high launch and low spin. If you like today's video and it helps you power up your golf swing, please like and subscribe our page so we can help other golfers level up their golf game. If you'd like us to help you individually, whether that be in person in our southern Wisconsin area or online through our online video lessons, feel free to reach us at levelupgolfacademy.com and send us an email or give us a call, and we can get to know more about you and how we can help you level up your golf game. Frankly, that's the best way for us to give you that personal touch and know exactly what you need to work on, and definitely reach us at levelupgolfacademy.com. Thanks again for watching today's video. We look forward to seeing you down the road at our future videos at Level Up Golf Academy.